Okay, so I'm going to do a little demo here, but I'll take some questions if we have any so far.
Yeah, nobody's typing any questions in the chat, but please feel free to do so.
Okay, so when you first go to Climate Engine, there's an option to do a tour. And the mapping and graphing tours are really good to go through. It basically gives you a really nice sense of what the capabilities are right off the start. So I encourage you to check that out. Let's see here. Okay. Before you can access the app, you have to register. And you can sign in with your Google account, or you can put in your email and password. You do have to accept the terms of use, and basically the terms, like I said before, are around not selling data from the app. It's non-commercial, and please don't sue us. That's pretty much the summary of the terms. But you know, hopefully those terms won't scare you away, or you know, don't cause problems within your agency to be able to use the app. But they're basic terms that we all just check through all the time when we see things like this pop up. So there are a couple main. Let me go back in the slideshow. There are some main features of the app that are really important to note. Basically, we have a Make Map tab and a Make Graph tab. So the menu options are different whether you want to make a map or a time series. And then once you make a map or a time series, you can see the map or time series by clicking on these tabs up at the top here, and also see the data. So just a printout of the time series. You can change colors, legend, you know, color ramps, set scales, maxes and mins, thresholding in terms of masking, and then most importantly, you can download the data. So I'm going to give a little demo of this here in a sec. You can click on this Get Link tab, and it will provide a link to the map that you just created or the time series and recreate it, so you can share it with a friend. And then get help and get info on the data sets here down at the bottom. For the Get Time series, like I said before, this is kind of how you navigate between the map and the figure, or the time series figure. So sometimes you may not see your figure that you just made. You just got to click on the tab and it'll come up. You can download the time series as an Excel file or a CSV. Or download the PNG or JPEG of the graph. And then you can drop this down, and you have multiple options on how you want to get that time series, whether it's a point, a polygon that you can draw, or a shape file that you upload. So I'm going to show a couple examples of this here now. All right. So I'm going to go live here and do some examples. So multiple time scales of drought, drought indices for different climatologies and different standardization approaches. This is something that Steve asked us to add. You know, what if you use a gamma versus something else, or log logistic for SPI versus a non-parametric type of standardization. And then different climatology periods. You know, there's a recent Nature paper saying, hey, you know, we should only use the last 30-year period for, say, SPEI, because we don't expect the temperature to go down. It's high now. We shouldn't be using the full 1895 to current record. But at the same time, you know, plants respond to this increase in temperature. And so, you know, I guess I would just say that it's all about what you're trying to, you know, what kind of questions you have and what kind of answers you're trying to get, whether you use the full time scale or this last 30-year period, given that, we don't expect temperatures to go down. So an anomaly temperature map or, a drought index that uses temperature, let's use the last 30-year period instead of the full record, is really the argument that got posed in that Nature paper.
Justin, I'm going to interrupt because I am only seeing still your presentation. Were you wanting to be live?
I'm going to go live right now.
Just wanted to be sure there wasn't a hiccup there.
You bet. Surface temperature anomaly in relation to ET and drought indices, and then download map. Okay, so let me go live here. So all right, so under the type, we have just these general categories: climate and hydrology, remote sensing, environment, hazards, and then forecasts. And under climate and hydrology, thanks much to the team, we just reorganized a lot of this into global data sets versus North America, CONUS, and then alphabetical from there. So I'm going to go with GridMet drought. These are pre-computed Pentad drought indices that we have, and then the short-term blend and long-term blend that I talked about before. So I'm going to do the latest Pentad and look at the short-term blend. And this is pulling up the data on the fly. It is a pre-compute. Well, actually, we're computing the short-term blend using this ingredients, these different ingredients that we can actually check out here in terms of metrics. Actually, yeah, here it is. So we provide all the information for each of the data sets under the get info. And so this is basically the ingredients of the short-term blend that we've come up with. Again, it follows very closely the CPC approach. We do have some different ingredients in here that are not in CPC, but you can see the long-term here versus the short-term. Basically, the long-term has some more longer-term SPI rather than just the 30-day and the 90-day. And then we have these multiplication factors. Now, the CPC group, they have different factors for different parts of the country, the west versus east. We have one. This can be optimized, obviously, but this is a good start. We've compared it to a lot of different impacts, both short-term and long-term, that we've explored using satellite data. All right. Okay, so that's that. Let me show you how to share a link. So you get a link. There's a long link that you can produce that has all the map parameters in it, so you can see exactly what's going on. Or the short link. I use the short link mostly, and I'm going to copy and paste this into a new window so that I can toggle back and forth. Now I'm going to do a long-term blend, make that, see what that looks like. Oh, server error, never fails. Okay. All right. Let me do this again. Short-term blend. Link. Control A, C. I did something weird. All right, so now I'm going to make the long-term blend. I think what happened was I copied and pasted the long link in there instead of the short, and I messed it up. All right, so you can see here, let's see, this tile is going to be coming back. All right, yeah. So you can, why that it's a little different there in terms of the map placement, but you can see just generally, you got the long term shows California, Central Plains, and then the short term, not so bad. You see the heavy monsoon that we got down in the Southwest. Okay, so that's just a little example of how to generally use a couple of the features here. Make graph. You can pull out a time series for the long-term blend. So the default is just to drop a marker down. We have some pre-computed or some pre-specified ranges here. I'm just going to change this to 2000, and then it's going to pull all the data that exists for that specified period, and hopefully pull it out and plot it here in just a sec. There you go. So this is the long term, and let's look and test out the 2 variable analysis option. So let's bring in now the short term blend. I'll go back to GridMet drought, these pre-computed pentads, short term blend, and then let's get my time right, 2000 or 22, change this to 2000. And then it's going to plot the short-term blend with the long-term blend, so we can see how these things are different in time. And what you'll see is that the long-term blend is kind of a smoothed representation of the short-term, but it's really neat to be able to pull these 2 things out. Now that is kind of interesting. So this is what I call exploring on the fly, right? So, yeah, that's interesting. This is the first time I've seen this where the short-term blend doesn't fall on top of the long-term blend as much. So you start to scratch your head and go, I wonder what's going on here. We have the raw data that you can get here, and then as far as download, you can download the CSV right here. All right. Let's see. In terms of downloading the map, you select a region, and then you can drag the box around. You can put in a bounding box coordinates, and then name it, and then download map layer. So it's going to clip the image and then give you this link that you go, and it will start downloading the zip file of the geotiff. So that's kind of handy. All right, so let's go back to the different standardization approaches. And I know that I'm getting short on time, so I will just do this one more thing and then pass it over to set up Jody and Kristen. Yeah, so let's see. Let's use GridMet, precipitation, standardized index. We have non-parametric, gamma, log logistic. The non-parametric is a Tukey plotting position approach. Gamma is commonly used for SPI. I'll do the 90-day and this latest climatology period we have. All right, so that's that. And the tile just came back. Now I'm gonna get that link, Control AAC, put it here so I can reference it, check out how it's different, and then use the Tukey for the same thing. There's been several papers on the use of a standardized or non-parametric index or non-parametric type of approach so you can compare indices to one another more easily. So there's gamma versus Tukey, same climate. So again, hypothesis testing, checking stuff out, super useful. One last thing, and then I promise I will pass it over, is the shapefile upload. It's something that we just put together. So you can upload a shapefile, pick the column or the attribute field that you want to use. In this particular case, it's name. Clayton Valley is the only lithium mine in the country. So there's a lot of interest around this particular area in terms of water budgets. So we're going to pull out the precipitation, the daily data. In fact, let's pull out one variable, summary time series, water year total, every year, year after year for the full period of record. So, and it's going to spatially average all the data to the polygon total over the day range, water year. So water year total, year after year, spatially averaged to the polygon. So there you go. Just did all that zonal statistics and reductions on the fly, and then I can download the Excel file. All right, I think that's enough. Sorry for going way long, team, but I wanted to get to that. All right, thank you.